Hi, I'm Charles, and this is the ChangeVlog. And again, just to recap, if you didn't see yesterday's video, my computer has a sick virus, really bad. I can't fix it. Don't have the money to go get it fixed right now, not in the budget. So I'm doing these videos where I'm just going to do one takes to the camera and then try to edit with a YouTube tool. Seemed to work for yesterday's video. But today's not a big deal anyways because today's One Take Tuesday, which is what I do every Tuesday. I pick a topic, do something, where I just talk about something that's on my mind or something somebody commented on one of my videos, whatever. Well, about a month ago or so, I was tagged in this YouTube survey that went around, and I never got to reply because my computer crashed and, all this stuff, so I guess that's what I'm going to do with this video. I'm like way behind, and I'm like, obviously not up to date with this survey. It's probably going to be old hat and nobody's going to be interested, but I'm going to do it anyways because I got tagged in it by David from the Pursuit blog, which is a cool channel. Go check it out. But go ahead and I'm going to attempt to answer these questions. So question number one, I'm just going to read these questions. Everybody else use the cool graphic and everything. I don't have any way to edit this, so I'm just going to read the questions. So question one was, tell us about your first kiss. So my first real kiss, like a real passionate, real kiss, whatever, happened between my 7th and 8th grade year during the summer. I went to spend the summer with my father in the town where he lived. We usually did that. We went and spent a large portion of the summer with my father. We lived with my mother during the school year. And there was a whole bunch of kids that lived on this street, ranging all kinds of different ages. So like I said, I was going into 8th grade, and there was this girl who I fell in love with, just had this crazy big crush on, and her name was Tracy. And I really, really liked Tracy. And all summer long, I followed her around like a puppy dog, and I mean, it was probably pretty obvious to her. And everything, and she was older than me. She was, I think, she was going into her sophomore year of high school, I believe, something like that. Definitely 2 years older than me, at least. So she was going into like her sophomore year. So anyways, I followed her all around and all this stuff, and it was one of the last days of summer, and I was going home in a few days, and maybe even the next day. I can't even remember all the details, but I was hanging out at her house. She invited me inside, and she gave me my first real kiss, and it actually lasted a little while. It was kind of nice. I totally sucked, I'm sure, because I had no idea what I was doing, and her being older than me clearly knew what she was doing. So yeah, that was my first kiss, like the summer before 8th grade year. Totally fell in love with this girl and followed her around. And it kind of paid off because I got to kiss her, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like movie stuff, like fall around and, oh, summer ends. Wow, can't believe I just said that. So anyway, yeah. So then the next question on the survey is the most expensive casual item of clothing you've ever bought. And I am such a stickler with clothing. I hate spending money on clothes for myself. I just hate it. I will buy the cheapest pair of shoes. I will wait till pants are like 2 for 1. Even if I need them for work or whatever, I hate spending the money. But there was a time, I was like 20 years old. I was in New York City with my girlfriend at the time, and her and I were walking through Soho, and we were going into this shop or whatever, and it was all like these designer shoes and all this kind of stuff. And we went in, and there were like these gray black slip-on shoes, and they had like these curvy wavy bottoms. They were like the most comfortable shoes I had ever put on in my entire life. I mean, just incredibly comfortable. And it probably didn't help that we had been walking around New York City all day long, so our feet were probably a little sore, and then we slid on these new shoes, and it was like I couldn't leave the store without them. To start, the price tag was like $140. But that's not the worst of it. There were male versions of these shoes, and there were female versions of these shoes. And me being the awesome boyfriend that I was, I mean, I had already taken her to New York City. bought 2 pairs of these shoes, the female version in her size and the male version of mine. So it was like, the purchase was like $300 on shoes, just kind of on a whim. We weren't even shoe shopping. We weren't really, we were just wanted to walk through Soho shops and see the designer clothes and do all that stuff that you're supposed to do as tourists in New York City. And I spent $300 on shoes. I'm not proud of it, people. But yeah, I did it. So that would be the most expensive casual item. I can't believe that I've spent more than $40 on a pair of shoes since then. But unless maybe they were wrestling shoes. But yeah, that's not usually what I'm about. So question 3 is the first job you ever wanted as a kid. I was trying to think about this, and I mean, I think there was a time when I wanted to ride in rodeos, so I guess cowboy. I grew up around horses, and my mom always had a horse and all that kind of stuff, and we got to ride, and we used to ride bareback and by the mane. But then I don't know if is that a real job. So I guess as I think about it and I got older, my brothers and I with my father were in kind of a bad accident, and I had to do a series of surgeries and like all that kind of stuff. And I remember how great the doctors always were, and they always made me feel so good in the hospital and all that kind of stuff. And I think I left that experience for a short period of time wanting to be a doctor. But then I realized how much reading it took, and not just reading, but reading of like textbook style reading. And I think that I realized that that wasn't really for me. I'm much more of a creative person, and that was just too technical and too much education, more than I was going to want to put in as I got older. So yeah, so I think maybe somewhere I went from cowboy to doctor to somewhere in reality. So number 4 is tell us about your group of school friends. And I actually had multiple groups of school friends. I had this weird, crazy career of high school where I was in theater, so I would do like the musicals, but then I was also a pretty good athlete and was on the football and wrestling teams and was fairly successful in those areas. And then I was also in like art club and French club and things like that. So I had friends from like all these different cliques and genres of friends. So like on a weekend, I could easily be hanging out with a bunch of football players, or the next weekend I could be hanging out with a bunch of the theater kids. And with the world of Facebook now, everybody seems to be in touch with everybody, so I've kind of touched base with a lot of kids, a lot of people, grown-ups now, from all those different genres. But I'd have to say the ones that I'm still closest to and the ones that stuck with me the longest are the theater kids. They're the ones that even after high school stayed in touch, and we still get together and we still talk on the phone. And I'm talking about like Mike, Jenny, John, Hurlbert, all these guys that and girls that have just stuck with me through all the years, and it's pretty awesome. So some have been in my wedding, and I was in some of their weddings, and I was at some of their weddings, and all that kind of stuff. And that I guess is the circle of friends that expanded past high school. And then with Facebook, you really you stay in touch with everybody now. So yeah, I'm gonna go with number 5 now. Is what would you name your kids? And this is a fairly easy question for me. I already have 3 children. Brian is the oldest. He is my only son. Gwendolyn is the middle child, and Miley is the youngest. And I have to say too, like, I think that not only do I like all those names, but I do like things like spelling, like how we spelled Miley's name. It was before the Miley Cyrus craze, and to prove it, we actually chose to spell it with the Hawaiian spelling, which is Maili. So if you think of Mai Tai, it's Miley. So not Miley, which when you see it on paper, a lot of people like to say, but stuff like that, you know. And then Gwendolyn has a beautiful flowing name of Gwendolyn Catherine. I like that, Gwendolyn Catherine. And then Brian has a family name, so Brian James, his grandfather. So yeah. So anyway, those are my kids' names. So that question's really easy for me, and I could elaborate a little on it, and you know, so on. So then the sixth question is like this, the dreaded question that you get on Facebook surveys and all that stuff is like, who do you want to do this survey next? Considering I'm like a month behind, anyone who hasn't done it, Ben, if you watch this video, you could do this. You don't make many videos lately, or you haven't been making many videos, so maybe you could catch up the same way I had to making this video. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I have no idea how long it is, and I don't really have any ways to edit and cut things out. So this is my best attempt at a one-take Tuesday. I'm going to try to get it up on YouTube for you, and I hope you enjoyed the answers to my survey. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in future videos, but good night for now.